I've never met so many cowards in our black men in show business.
I cannot, for the sake of my integrity, stand up here and let everybody that's counting on me crumble so I can make a statement.
I've never met so many black men that have no goddamn backbone.
I could care less than about what you think about me.
If you thought that Steve Harvey had enough drama on his plate with the current rumors about his dear wife having an affair, apparently, this was just the start for the iconic TV host and comedian. Now, it seems like Steve's fellow comedian Monique is exposing Harvey's true nature, and she allegedly called him the most cowardice man in the whole Hollywood. It seems like Monique cannot digest her bother Steve, so let's get to the details of their beat. Hi everyone and welcome back to Celeb Live Channel. So it seems like it's not the best period for Steve Harvey, and his name is being dragged through the mud not only by internet trolls, but his colleagues as well. Comedian Monique, who is known for her brave confrontations, is with the most powerful figures of the industry, is now after Steve.
In our community, they've got us chasing the bag and not principle and not integrity.
According to Monique, Steve Harvey is a vile man who values wealth and his position in the show business more than truth, and when it comes to harsh choices and choosing sides, Steve sticks to those who feed him and his family. Now, despite being the Academy Award winner, Monique doesn't bend to the rules of the industry, but she believes that her brother Steve has long sold his soul to Hollywood and can easily throw everyone under the bus to keep his reputation and image.
The money. But Mo,
wait a minute.
If I crumble, my children crumble, my grandchildren crumble.
Now, Monique is calling him out because she truly believed they were in the same boat. But apparently, money changed Steve a lot, and he became the person who cannot afford being raw and honest anymore. Unlike Steve, Monique isn't afraid to stand against the most powerful figures in the industry. And as you know, her was blackballed for a long 13 years because trying to stand her ground. Ever since the time of her beef with Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Lee Daniels, Monique was never afraid to sound harsh, and she bravely expressed her negativity about the inequality that's happening in the show business. However, as she's saying, the powerful figures like Steve Harvey, who could chime in and show an example to future generations of black artists, are too cowardice and hold to their sack of cash, not being able to say what they think.
But when it came about, oh, you're going against the powers that be, and I want the powers to be that no, I'm not on that side.
Now, you guys may say that Monique just loves drama and making new enemies, but when you start to dig deeper, you may notice that her feuds don't stem from nowhere. You see, guys, in 2022, during a show in Detroit, Monique had tough time because of her contact issues, and from the stage, she decided to slam everyone who was plaguing her life as a performer and entertainer. And guess whose name popped up?
Go, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley. I gave you everything you need to deal.
Now, Monique is saying that Steve Harvey understands the rules of power play in the industry, and he does everything to protect himself from the public scandal. And apparently, he was ready to sacrifice his good relationship and friendship with the actress in order to keep his position and status. However, despite the vile and treachery people around, Monique still gets a lot of support from her husband, who shares her views on the industry and its cruel games.
To ask yourself, can you live with yourself for doing it the right way versus playing by their rules?
But here's the thing, guys. Looks like Steve Harvey doesn't like to be dissed like that, and this was the time he decided to step in and address the growing amount of talk about his cowardly behavior and nature. But if you think he ever apologized to Monique and took her side, well, you don't know how much this man loves his money. Steve was quick to reply that he had never been the real problem for the blackballed comedian, and she is looking just for someone available to point her finger at. As the Family Feud host stated, let me just open by saying I could care less than about what you think about me because clearly I'm not your problem. However, as Monique believes, Harvey could use his position and influence to help her with her fight against the powerful figures who plague her existence. But in fact, he chose a way of coward who sits on his bag full of money and deny the harsh truth.
And that's when I look at my brother and I say, how dare you, Steve?
Well, many people agree with Monique that Steve Harvey doesn't correspond to his image of a great relationship guru and generous man, and he worries more about his own skin than the mutual goals of the black community. Now, fans are praising Monique for exposing the evil people, and they hope her voice will be heard. As one user wrote, Monique called out Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Steve Harvey. So far, Daniels is the only one that apologized. People know she was speaking truth. Much love for Monique. And another user added, I love her. She, a real woman. Don't hold back how she feels. For no one. If you take anything, you won't stand for nothing. But But here's a backstory why Monique is so pissed at Steve Harvey and think that he has chosen to be with the elites and powerful figures rather than to fight for the truth. The Oscar-winning actress spoke to him on his talk show about being labeled as difficult. Harvey told her she did a disservice to herself with all those beefs and pursuit of truth and justice.
I thought you went about it wrong. See, I felt that you had done yourself a disservice by the way you chose to go about it.
According to Monique, Steve was trying to push her into accepting the narrative of the industry, saying that her position and feud with the powerful figures was pointless, and in the end, she wouldn't win because no one does. Steve basically told her to wrap up her campaign and accept the rules of the game. When you tell the truth, you have to deal with the repercussions of the truth. We black out here. We can't come out here and do it any kind of way we want to. And Steve later added, the actress should have stopped worried about her integrity and truth and take a better look at her bank account because being in a show business means playing high-stake money games.
The black man's game, this ain't the white man's game.
It's
This
the
is the
money
money
game.
game.
But I'ma
We
tell
in the
you
money
something.
game. And
We're
you
in the
cannot
money game.
sacrifice yourself.
Now it's clear that Steve Harvey picked his side, and the fullness of his pockets worries him more than anything else. Apparently, he's one of those people who blindly agree to the Hollywood rules and betray their true nature because they want money and success. At this point, Monique is disappointed in Steve because there is nothing honest left in him, only the desire for wealth. Of course, after receiving huge backlash for his cowardice position, Steve Harvey had to reflect on what he had said, and as he mentioned later, the biggest part of that conversation was edited and didn't make the final cut for Monique's protection.
I mean, the interview actually was 52 minutes. I edited to protect her because it was some really crazy stuff.
However, there's belief that, in fact, Steve was only protecting himself because we already know how vulnerable the TV host is to any kind of criticism and backlash, and how he ardently will say anything to keep his pockets filled and having the opportunities of a privileged person he's enjoying right now. As you remember, at the beginning of his career, Steve was living in his car, and I bet he has no desire to lead such a pitiful lifestyle again. So here's what he answered about his whole comment about integrity.
My only regret in the whole thing was I misspoke.
What a lame excuse for the person being in the show business and basically earning money by speaking in public. And it feels like Monique already realized the pathetic depths of Steve's nature back then during that conversation, and that money mattered to this man more than anything else. So he keeps dragging himself into more controversies just to please his bosses. And the actress cannot forgive him for betraying her and the principles of equality. At the moment, Wen was looking for a friendly face in the hostile crowd of the show business. She reached out to Steve with the plea for help, but the family feud chose to turn his back to his longtime friend and not beef with the elites that feed him.
I said to you, Steve, my family is suffering behind this, and y'all know I did nothing wrong.
However, as many fans now saying, it's pointless to reason with this man because he's all rotten to his core. Netizens say that the actress should move on and forget about reaching out to Steve because his soul has been long sold to the Hollywood elites, and that why he has lost respect among the audience. As one user wrote, Steve Harvey has always been a snake, and he deserved everything he gets at this time. He never really cared about nothing but himself. And another user added, most people can't stand Steve Harvey. If Bernie Mac was still alive, he wouldn't even be relevant. Well, Steve Harvey is far away from his screen image, and hopefully, karma will teach him a valuable lesson soon. And what do you think about this, guys? Has money and wealth turned Steve Harvey into a coward who cannot speak against the powerful elites? Or is Monique looking for someone to blame for her misfortunes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other videos about the shady side of the show business. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I promise to be back very soon